Today we are going to start with, we are completed with all the collection topic and we are going to start with one of the other important topic is all about functions. Okay. What is functions? In C programming also you may have came across functions. What is function in the sense? You have any idea about what is function? Method, okay. What is that? How will I give this function in this name? Why should I use function? To do work. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, words are only single word answer, but it doesn't give complete meaning, guys. I guess you are answering, but it is a single word. Give some meaning complete. Okay, good Santosh. To do repetitive task. If you want some task to be done again, instead of writing the same set of code, you can do this particular function. Good, good. To do repetitive task, that is the advantage. We can take advantage of the function is to do the same task again repetitively. Or a simple term I can name it as for code reusability, I can make use of functions. Good. Okay. So when I say function, what is that, Soumya? Can be used in any part of a program. All your answer comes under code reusability. So before moving on to the advantage, first let us understand what is function. A function is a set of instruction, a very simple statement, set of instruction. So right now you are doing some program called sum of two numbers or some calculation part you are doing. But in a program, if you find the same calculation part has to be repeated 3 times or 4 times, what I'll do is I'll put this set of statements, this calculation part under a name, and wherever I want the particular set of operation to be repeated, just I'll call the name alone. I'll never write the set of instruction again. So what happens here? The number of lines I'm writing is reduced. What happens? The one advantage is code optimization. Okay, code optimization happens where number of lines we are reading is getting reduced. And then other advantages, if you want to repeat the five set of lines again, 10 times what happened? You'll be getting 50 lines of code, right? So instead of this, I'm reusing the code again. This is the other advantage of function. As function is very simple to a set of instruction given under a name. When you want the particular instruction to be performed, just call the name, that is fine. This is all about your function, guys. When you're speaking about the function, you should know what are the parts in a function. So function consists of two elements. One is function definition, another is function call. When you're seeing with your C programming, you'll have three elements along with the prototype or declaration. Here, in case of Python, we are going to have only two elements in case of function. One is function definition, another is function call. So when I say function, there should be certain syntax, right? The syntax for declaring a function is, we'll be declaring a function here in case of Python by using a keyword called def. So we'll be using def keyword followed by your function name. Okay, function name and followed by the parenthesis. If at all you need to pass any value for this argument, I'll be passing inside this, and the statements of this function will be written here. So this is how to make use of function. So this is called function definition. Okay, this is called function definition. Defining a function and writing the functionality of it is called function definition. If you want to call a function, the same function if you want to call it, I'll be mentioning as function name. Okay, I'll create an object and here in case of class we'll create an object. Here I'll be as general term I'll be writing function name followed by the parenthesis. This is all about your function call, guys. So just I'm writing a syntax of it. I didn't go with any implementation part. Listen carefully. This is the syntax of it. Function definition followed by the function call, and this is the syntax of function definition, and this is the syntax of function call. Now I'll give you some example. Okay. This function is an important concept, guys. This is necessary for even your object-oriented program, which plays a major role. In case of object-oriented program, which will be seeing after completing fundamental, without function, I can't able to write a program. So by using function, you are going to write a program. So it should be clear enough in function how to define it and how to call it. I'll give you example for you people. Listen, if you want to display some message, for example, this function name is a user defined name, guys. I can use any name. For example, I'm going to declare a function called func. Some function name I'm declaring it, and right now I'm not going to pass any parameter. I kept like this here, and here let me print some message here. All is well. I'm going to print some message. This is all about your function definition. So once you have function definition, your function is not going to execute. If I execute this, you can notice that I'll never get any output. A blank will be there. If I want to call this function, I can call this function by using func, the same name. Here I'm not passing any parameter value. Just I'll call the name. Now you can notice that all is well. So how this processes happen? Initially, the first statement to be operated is function call. So first statement which will be operating. Once the function call happens, this call goes to the function definition. Then it goes inside. This function can have as many statement as it wants. Right now, just I'm giving some message, print statement alone. Okay, if you have some calculation part with 4 or 5 lines, you can write all those things, but make sure that all the lines should have an indentation, should have a spacing. Then all the lines which comes under the function should be given with the spacing, which says that these functions are inside your statements. So you can, if you want to write some statement outside a function, even I can write in here. Here we doesn't have a separate part like main function, guys. By default, after this function, whatever the statement you're writing towards here, margin is considered as a main statement. So if I mention end of program. Okay, for your understanding, let me write beginning and end, so that people can able to understood where the function call is beginning and where the function call is ending. Guys, these are very basic program, guys. I will start with the logical part. Okay, just for structure, I'm showing you people. So the first, what will be happening is the first line of execution is this, and the last line of execution is this. This is what it's going to execute. Beginning of a program, and the function call, it goes here. The statement inside a function is going to execute, and after this, it comes to the next line of your. After this, it comes to the next line here, and this last line executes. So this part is treated as a main function. Okay, here it is treated as a main part. So only the statement inside this will be executed. Let us assume there is a function, but I forgot to call the function here. I didn't call it. Nothing will happen. Only beginning of a program and ending of a program is going to happen. Clear with it. You can have as many functions as you want, but you make sure that all the functions should be called here. This is all about the simple program, all about a function declaration and function call. This is the example of function without return type. I'm not returning any value, right? I'm doing calculation, I'm printing message. I'm not throwing any value back to my function call. This is a function call. I'm not throwing any value back to my function call. So that is the reason I'm writing function without return type and without argument. I didn't receive any value during your function call. So if this without argument, or I can name it as a parameter, it's up to us. I'm not receiving anything from my function call. I'm not throwing any value for my function call. So I'm writing this function as example of function without return type and without argument. The concept is same as your C programming, guys. The way of declaration is different. That's it. Okay. And next is, I'll show you one example, the function with without return type with parameter. Okay, with argument. So let us assume you're going to do a small program for addition of two numbers. So there sum, we're going to do addition of it. Sum is a keyword. Let us use some other name, add. So let us assume I'm going to receive two parameter x and y from the user. Here I'm going to print my x value and y value. So let me print, let us assume I'm going to print sum of two numbers. Sum of comma x plus y. I'm going to addition of these two numbers. And here from your function call, I'm going to pass two numbers 4, 5. Directly let me pass it, guys. I don't want to make it the program complex. If you want, you can accept from the user and pass a variable name. Here I'm passing directly. Okay. Now let me execute it. You can notice that how the program is executed. As I told you, this add function is a function which is called first. When it is called first, automatically this call goes here and this value 4 is substituted for x and 5 is substituted for y, and these two values are added and the added value is displayed here. This is first function with argument. So previous is without argument. I didn't pass any parameter. The value what you are passing here is called argument or parameter value for a function. Okay. This is with argument. And the next type is with return type. I'm doing operation and I'm going to return a value where I'm not going to print my some value here. I'm going to throw back my value back to my function call. So in those cases, if at all you are writing like this, then which one you want to explain again, ma? This concept. Previous one, this one. It is very simple, Manikant. Here, add function is called to value x and y is passed here. And here, whatever the value I received here, right now x value is 4 and y value is 5. So right now, when I'm doing some will be printed in your output stream. X plus y, these two value will be added and will be printed. That's it. Okay. And next one is the same program, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to print my value in my main function. So in my function definition, I'm going to print my value in my function call itself. So in those cases, what I supposed to do? I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. Listen carefully. This is function with return type. Result assign. And here, let me mention return x plus y. Okay, listen. Guys, listen carefully. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. So what happened? The first statement to be executed is this statement will be executed. So once I execute this statement, what happened? The value 4 and 5 will be substituted. 4 for x and 5 for y will be substituted. Here what I'm doing, addition of these two, it will be calculated and it will be 9. But what I'm trying to do here, I'm not trying to print the value here. Instead of printing, I'm returning. Returning in the sense, I'll throw the value back to my function call. Where is your function call? Your function call is add of 4, 5. So this 9 will be thrown back here. So once the 9 is thrown back here, right now what is the value of result? The value of result will be 9. So when I try to print this value, 9 will be printed. Somehow both the program is going to produce you same result, guys. The difference is I'm printing inside my function itself. But here I'm not printing inside my function. I'm calculating the value, but I'm throwing the value back to my function call. Is it clear? Both are different. This is with return type and this is without return type. Is this clear, guys? I'm returning a value back to my function call. Calculator value is written back here. I'm not printing here, but I'm printing here. Shall we move on to next one? Just let me know, is that clear? Give me a quick response, guys. Good. What happened? Among 200, I could receive only 10 responses. What about other 190 response? Venkat, what is argument? Argument in the sense this parameter value is called argument. Guys, whatever the doubt you have, you can ask me, guys. Don't hesitate to ask your doubt. You're always welcome. Okay. No need to declare for result. It is not required, Ramateja. Declaration is not required. As I said you that Python is a dynamic typecasting. Whenever you want it, you can declare a variable and you can store a value in it. It is not required to declare as the result assigned 0. It's not required here. Okay. Okay. Someone has asked that what is this argument or parameter in the sense? Parameter or arguments in the sense, whatever the value are going to define inside a add function. When I say add, this is a function, right? This value, what you're passing inside the bracket, inside this parenthesis, right? This is not parenthesis. Inside this, whatever you're passing this one, it is called argument. Okay. Either I can name it a parameter value or I'll be naming as an argument, Venkat. The value what you're passing here. This is called argument value or a parameter value. Clear? So you'll be using this technical term, argument, parameter, all those things mentions the value passed inside this function. Which one you want to explain again? Sorry, with return type you want to explain. Okay, I'll explain. Here we are calling this add function with the value 4 comma 5. So the first statement executed is this part will be executed first. Okay, just I write the step number, guys. If at all it is confusing for those people, you can listen. This is the first statement executed. After executing, it will go here. Directly it will go here. This is the second statement executed, and this will call like this: add of 4 comma 5. Right now my x value is 4. Okay, x value is 4 and y value is 5. This is argument, Manikant. Here we didn't have different types of argument here. This is what argument I mean. Okay, so x value is 4 and y value is 5. This will be substituted. Right now when I'm trying to do addition of these two numbers, 9 will be calculated. So what is the statement before to it? Return. When I mention return, it will throw the value out of the control. So here this function is a separate part of your program, guys. This is one separate block. So when I say return, it will throw the value out of this function to the function call. So where is your function call? This is a function call, right? This will throw a value back to your function call. When it throws here, this particular function will be substituted with a value called 9. So what I did, result assign add of 5, 4 comma 5. So this add of 4 comma 5 has been executed and the value what it is throwing back is 9. The output of this add of 4 comma 5 is 9. So it will be substituted. Now when I print to try, so when I try to print my result, it will display as 9. The same program can be written in still more optimized way, but I don't want to confuse you people. That's the reason I given like this. Instead of giving like this, even you can write like this also. No need of writing this step. Directly you can have a function call. You can avoid this also. Both is literally the same. Some are given inside quotes, Venkat. So it will never throw you error. Okay, I'm printing it. Some is not a variable here. Some is a data to be printed. Okay, both are going to give you 9 as the output, guys. Just a minute. There's a missing parameter. Both are going to give you 9 as the output. Okay, the reason here is here I'm storing in a variable name and printing here. But here I'm not storing in a variable name, directly printing in this position. That is the difference. Don't confuse, guys. Here I'm using one variable to store the result. Then I'll call the variable here. Here instead of doing this, directly I'll call the function name. So this value will be substituted. Whatever the value is thrown back will be substituted. So what is your doubt? With the argument. Manikant, this is with the argument. Whenever you're going to pass parameter value here, this is a parameter. If you pass value inside this is with the argument. So without argument in the sense, the first example, very basic example. This is without argument. I didn't pass anything inside, right? This is without argument. And this is with the argument. I'm passing value inside this. What is that your doubt, Bharananda? Can you write? Here you can write wherever you want, Bharananda, but the proper structure is whatever the function you have, there's a certain coding ethics, right? Whatever the function you have, you're supposed to write at the top of your program. You can write wherever you want, but it's not a ethic. Coding ethics, as per standard, all the functions should be written above to your program. Then only you're supposed to follow the remaining statements. You should follow the standard of it. Yes, yes, Sivaji. The number of argument I pass here and should be same. If I mention one more argument here, it will look for the value to be passed. Okay, it will show you error. There is an argument mismatch. One position argument is required here. Okay, so the number of argument you're passing here and you're receiving here should be same. If there is some mismatch, it will throw you error. Guys, is that clear? The same program are written by storing in a variable name and without storing in a variable name. Both are same, guys. If you want, you can in an elaborate way, you can store in a variable name and you can have a display here. Or directly you can have a function call inside your print statement. Literally both use the same meaning. Okay. You can pass as many arguments as you want, Amartya. There is no rule at all. You can pass as many arguments. Here just I'm passing a 2 value. You can pass many values also. Def means a definition of a function. This is a syntax for declaring a function. Okay, you should follow this syntax now. Radhisha, this is a syntax. Def is a syntax for declaring a function. Def followed by the function name followed by the statement. Okay, I'll move on to the next step. Right now I have shown you people how to return only one value, right? If at all I want to return more than one value. What is it, Ramateja? Yeah, function name can be of anything, ma. There's no rule at all. I can have any name as a function name. Now I'll show you the program how to do multiple return value. Okay. So for example, let us assume I'm going to do some calculation of two value x and y. So let us assume I'm going to do addition of two number and I'm going to do subtraction of two number and I'm going to do division of two number. Okay, these are the operation I'm going to do. But for all this operation, I'm not going to store in this particular or display in this particular function. I'm going to return all those functions like M, N, O, P. So you can notice that I can have print statement like this. Result assign calci of if I pass value like 10, 5. I'll show you how to do a print followed by a result. If I execute this, we get what happens here. P, whereas P is not there. Sorry, it's in the flow I typed it. So if I see that, you can notice that by using this return value, I can return more than one value at a time from a function, which is a unique feature in case of Python. But in C or C++, that's not possible. By using return, I can able to return only one value. Here what I'm doing, addition of this 10 and 5 is 15. I'm throwing by using M and subtraction of these two values is 5. I'm throwing by variable called N and division of these two values is 2. I'm throwing by using O. Like this I can throw by multiple value at a time. So here I didn't have multiple variable name to receive this value. You can notice that how the variable is treated as. The return value result is treated as a tuple type. The default type is tuple. As I told you that here the default value will be taken as a tuple. I told you that we are teaching is a tuple itself. The default values are treated only as a tuple type. Okay. Prasanna, your doubt is why should I return? So you want some calculation part to be done. So in those cases, you want to calculate a result. In a program, you will be finding the function importance of it. You want some calculated result. So for that, I can write a function for doing the calculation. I can return a value back for my calculation. For example, you're finding some. You're supposed to find you're doing some manipulation like addition. So this part should be the calculated result of age. For this, here I can't write the age function, right? Here I can't able to write the age function. So instead of this, what I'll do is I'll write a separate function for calculation of age and I'll return the value here, Prasanna. So if I return here, automatically the age what is returning from the function call will be substituted. So that is the use of the return statement. So I'll do calculation of it and I'll return the value. Wherever it is required, I can substitute it. So you can throw back and it's a substitute. This is the use of the return. Okay, what is your doubt? If the output you want in float. If the output you want to float, there's an integer division. Okay, make it as slash. Yeah, that's the next one you're going to see with this one, Narendra. How to access separately. Okay, if the same data is there, I want to access separately one by one. How can I do it? Print result or should not be kept Manikant's case sensitive. Okay, so if I want the output to be accessed separately, I can mention addition, subtraction, division like this, and you can have a separate variable for receiving all three outputs, and you can mention like this: add, comma, subtract, comma, division. Okay, clear. Like this, you can access a separate variable as a tuple also. Here you can notice the difference. This value is treated as a tuple since I'm trying to accept all the value in a single variable. But here you can notice that I'm having three separate variable to receive the three separate output what I'm getting. Got it? Like this, you can separate in a three separate variable and you can make use of it. I guess till this you people are clear, right? Shall I move on to next one? What happened as a sudden? What is the use of print statement? Why it is, Manikan? Why you got doubt from print statement? Print is used for displaying the value in the variable. The variable at subdivision is there. The value in the variable will be displayed. The value of this particular m will be stored. It will be matching like this. The first parameter is m and the next parameter with n and next parameter with division. Okay, this will be matching like this. So the values of this particular variable will be displayed by calling the print m, print add, sub and division. Guys, don't confuse with this print. Print is a general term which is used for printing the value in a variable. Till this, are you clear, ma? Everyone? I'll move on to next one. Okay, good. I guess everyone is clear, right? And next is function with default argument. What is default in the sense? Default setting, default. What is that? Default argument in the sense, what do you mean? Whenever you buy a phone, you can find the default settings. This is a prefixed one. Okay, if you want it, you can make use of the default setting. If you don't want it, you can able to change it. It's up to us, right? So let me show you the small example function with default argument. Let us assign a scenario where we are going to calculate the area of a circle. So for area of a circle, we'll be using a formula called pi r square. So let me define a function name called area, and here I'm going to calculate the area of a circle. I know that the formula is pi r square. R square is a formula. So I know that the formula of the value of pi is fixed one. It is 3.14. It is not going to change. So I can able to make this value as a fixed one. We can accept radius from the user and I can fix this pi value as 3.14. So this is the default argument, guys. When you are going to have a fixed value like this, I can have a default value like this, and this is called default argument. It is not necessary to pass a value for a default argument. I can mention pi into r square. So now pi r square is done. Now whenever you call, let me call right now inside directly print itself. I guess you people can understand now. So if I call area with the value 10, okay, I didn't pass my radius. Listen carefully. This particular pi is a default argument. It is not necessary to pass a default argument. The reason is if you even doesn't pass it, it will never throw you error. Previously, as you asked that those many parameters is there, those many parameter has to be passed during your function call. If there is any mismatch in the number of arguments you are passing, it will throw you error. But you can notice that this area function has two parameter, but I'm trying to pass only one argument. It will never throw you error. The reason is it has some default value in it. The default value is pi. Okay, the default value is pi. What is the shortcut for run? Okay, Venkat, you can make use of shift enter. In this, you can make use of shift enter. Okay. So this is the default value. It is not required to pass this argument. So if you feel that I don't want to use default argument, I'll pass some value. So is that possible? Yes, that's possible by mentioning area of, I'll mention the first radius as 10 and I'm going to substitute my pi value as 2 only. I don't want to substitute by 3.14. In those cases, you can notice that here my default value has been substituted with the value called 2 and I'm getting output as 200. So this is all about your default argument, guys. You can have an argument. You can either accept as a normal argument or default argument. So make sure that once you implement default argument, it should be placed at the right end. If I try to place a default argument at the left end, it will throw you error. I can have as many argument I want, but make sure that I can't able to put pi comma r. It will throw you error. If you have default argument, all the arguments should be placed at your right end and the left end should have a normal argument. The changing of the order will throw you error. This is the only rule you are supposed to keep in mind in case of default argument. So what is the Chandrasekhar? You want to make use of both? No, that's not possible. Either you can call a function without passing. In those cases, default argument will be taken. If you are passing the argument, here it will take the value what you have passed. This is the difference. We cannot pass both at a time. We can have separate function call. That is possible. Like this, we can make use of both. But at a time, in a statement is not possible. Clear with this one? Shall we move on next one? Come on. This is all about a default argument, guys. Fine. Good. I guess you people are clear. Guys, whenever you find doubt, you can ask your doubts. When I'll give time for you people, guys. After completion of this topic, you can ask your doubts. I'll ask if you have any doubts. Okay. So clarify your doubts then and there. The reason is this function is important one where we'll be implementing this function in OOPS concept. Without knowledge of the function, it is very hard to go ahead with the OOPS concept. Okay. So clarify your doubts. I'm ready to explain your doubts wherever you find doubt. What is that, Shakshi? What is this 10, 2? Good doubt. Here it is nothing but area is a function name. I'm calling this area. 10 is my radius and 2 is my pi value. I don't want to make use of the default value. I want to change the value of it. Here I'm substituting by 2 so that you can notice that this is calculated based on this value what I passed and giving 200 as an answer. Okay, this is a function call now. Okay, we'll move on to next one. And next is, this is a new features. Whatever we are going to discuss this, that is a new feature which is available only in case of Python. What is that, ma? What is your doubt? Actually, I can understand. I can understand your doubt. Just a minute, I'll try to unmute you. You can ask your doubt. Give me a second. You can ask your doubt. I can understand, ma.
Madam, madam, function call ఏంటి madam ఇందులో?
Function call. This is your function call. You're asking where is function call, right? Am I right?
Function call ఇందులో
I couldn't hear you properly. Can you repeat again? Sai, are you there? I know some network issue, I guess, from his end. Okay, once he is back, let him ask his doubt. Okay. What is it, Soumya? Area of 2. Okay. Is a function called area of 2. Soumya, what is that? Yes, Soumya, just let me know what is that, what he is asking for. He wants to see which one in separate line, ma? Soumya, just can you speak? I have given unmute option for you.
Ma'am, he wants to see area of 10 in separate line, ma'am, so that
This is in separate line only, right?
No, ma'am.
Ah,
Print of area of 10 you wrote, no, ma'am.
yes.
Assign some variable to area of 10 so that you can print that.
Okay, you want to store this in a variable and you want to make this one.
He's
Oh,
not able to see where is the function call.
okay, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, Soumya, thank you for explaining. Guys, this I repeated this in the previous step itself. I guess you didn't listen properly. Listen here. Either you can store in a variable and you can do like this. Okay, or you can call directly. Both are literally same. So why is this double star exponent? I thought in operator because in operator I thought it. This is for exponent r square. Okay. Mm. So here you're supposed to make use of predefined functions, guys. If you want to make use of any predefined function, you're supposed to make use of math module. I didn't teach you any math module. Right now, keep pi value as like this, and later on, I'll give you knowledge transfer about what are the predefined functions available. Right now, don't worry about it, okay? Yeah, because it is for, don't put 3 star, guys. Don't think that. So if as the star increases, your power value increases. The exponent is only 2. If you want cubic, just put 1 star, the particular number. Okay, don't add star for 3. Don't do this. This is a mistake one. This is not a right one. This is any number by power 3, power 4, power 5. Only the value should be increased. Okay, don't increase the stars because that's not right. Okay. Guys, I'll let you know the predefined functions. Right now, I'm not teaching about it. So don't worry about the predefined function. You should have a knowledge about math module. Once I say about math module, I'll let you know what are the predefined functions available in it. Okay, right now keep values, pi values 3.14. Okay, I'll let you know by afternoon session, all those things. Okay, guys, listen. Now, we are seeing about this. I guess you people are clear so far, right? I've explained you all the topics twice. And the next concept is we are going to see with the if I'm going to pass a multiple values as an argument. For example, I'm going to have a function called func. Guys, this is a very important topic, guys. Listen carefully. So let us assume I'm going to pass values like this func. I'm going to pass the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to pass multiple values like this. When I'm not sure about the number of arguments I'm passing, here I can mention star and followed by my variable name. Here args is a variable name, don't take it as a keyword. If I mention star args, it will receive as many variable I wanted. Whatever I'm passing, those variable will be received here and I can able to make use of it. This concept is called variable length argument. Variable length argument. Okay, when I execute like this, you can notice that this value has been accepted by a single variable. This star means many. It is not a star means many here. In case of majority of a part, we'll be using star, guys. Keep in mind, star means many. I'm going to accept many parameter. So you can receive many parameter like this. You can print it. If you find that I want to do some calculation, is that possible? Yes, you can do it. So if you want to do some manipulation, I can do it. I can put a for loop. I can put for I in args. Okay, I can put a for I in args. What happened? Whatever the value, this is treated as a tuple, guys. So a value 1 by 1 will be taken from your tuple. If at all you want to just do some power operation, I can mention I power 2 and let me give ends with space. The same program, just I'm writing in some extensive way, guys. Don't be worried about it. Look at here. I'm passing these values and these value has been received with the one variable name called args and I'm printing my args. So the same value what I passed here, so the comma separator has been treated as a tuple and is printing here 1 to 6. The values what I've received, I want to do some calculation in it. So in those cases, what I can do is I can mention for I in ARGS. I'm taking one value from a tuple. I'm doing power of 2. So 1 power 2, 1, 2 power 2, 4, 3 power 2, 6, the 3 power 2, 9, 4 power 2, 16, which is another 4 into 4, 5 into 5, 6 into 6. Okay, this is all about your variable length argument. You can pass a value in an argument. Multiple values can be passed at a time. It can be received by a single variable. The variable name is star args. Okay. It is not like an array, guys. Here, this is star args is a separate concept. You can, if you know array, you can take it as it is similar to passing it. Making use of array. Here, all those lists, everything comes under array concept only. Here, I can pass different value also. We do have array concept also separately here. Okay. This is all about passing a multiple value and taking as a tuple. So this is all about your variable length argument. Let us assume the same place, instead of passing like this, I have a key value pass. For example, if I have div func, okay, func, and here I'm going to pass as a key value pass. For example, func of what I can tell is says A assign 1, B assign 2, and C assign 3. If I'm going to pass like this, then how can I access these values as a key value pair? Here A is a key and B is a value. So A is a key and 1 is a value. If I want to receive this key value pairs, I'm supposed to make use of double star followed by the arguments. So this is known as keyworded argument. This type of accessing a value with key value pairs is called keyworded argument. Keyworded argument. Okay, so if you want to access this one, the same way you can access by using print of val. So right now just directly I'll print and show you. Okay, here you can notice that I'm passing key and value, key and value. Here I'm passing only sequence of number. This is literally like accessing a dictionary, guys. So the value I can pass it here. Where is not defined. So it is keyword of, right? I'm just by looking at the previous one, just I'm writing it. So it will be act as a dictionary. Clear. This is passing a sequence of value. This is passing a keyword argument. So if you are going to pass a keyword argument, you'll receive as a dictionary type here. Here, if you're passing sequence of value, I'm supposed to make use of variable length argument. Clear with it? What is it, Manikant? Here, this is a tuple type. Yes, this is a tuple type. By default, if you're passing sequence of value, it is treated as a tuple type. Here I'm passing as a key value argument. It is a dictionary type. If I'm passing key value pairs are all about a dictionary, guys. This particular key value is a dictionary. 18th one is you are taking single value, right? Here I'm trying to print that ARGS as such. So what happened is taking as a tuple. Here I'm taking a tuple and separating one by one value and doing some calculation. That is the reason it is not a tuple. This is separate values. I'm taking as a tuple, I'm separating it here. You can notice here. Okay, those have a confusion. Here it is tuple and here why it is not a tuple. The reason is from a tuple I'm taking value one by one and I'm doing calculation of it. Now your tuple has been unpacked. I'm taking one by one value, I'm doing calculation, I'm printing directly. Okay, so that is the reason I'm printing. Somehow your ARGS is only tuple format. The value from ARGS is taken one by one and I'm doing calculation in it. So what is your doubt, Amatya? How can I declare keyword using input? Which keyword, Amatya, are you asking about? Just a minute, I'll come down to cell 20. This one, you want to accept as an input. Okay, you can pass a dictionary here. This keyword argument can be passed as a dictionary here. There are multiple ways are there. you can pass as a dictionary by using DACT method. In case of DACT method, we have one way of declaration to declare like this. I can pass like this. Key value pass can be passed like this. Okay. You can pass a dictionary here for key value. What else is your doubt? Harika, just guys don't compare with other things. Just right now keep in mind, if I am passing multiple value, that is star args. If I am passing keyword argument, this is double star args. I'll let you know people how to combine both the values. Okay. What is the Shashi Kumar? You got doubt in tuple. Yesterday topic we have seen about tuple. Are you there, Shashi Kumar? We have seen what is tuple, the name tuple. The name tuple in a collection, in the sense it is a separate topic. One of the collection data type. Harsha, what is your doubt? What will happen if there is no ends with space? If there is no ends with space, it will print your output 4. So it will be printing in one after other. 1, 4, 9, 16. One after other. I want to print in a sequential manner. That is the reason I have given ends with space. Okay. Okay, guys. It is not. What is that Darnier asked about? Is it only for variable equals streamed? Which line you are speaking about, Dharani? I couldn't understand. Dharani or Dharani? Dharani. Which line, Dharani? Okay, guys, let me go over to the next one. I guess you people are clear so far, right? If I'm having sequence of value, I'll be using this one. If I'm having key value pass, I can use keyword argument. Okay. And next is, if I want to use both together in the same program, what I can do here? So as you people ask, I want to use both the element. In those cases, first I mentioned star args. Okay, star args should be mentioned a variable name, where I'll be passing a value, as many value I want. I want other data type to be passed here. Here I can access both the element like this. In the same program, if both the values occur together, in those cases I can access like this. You can notice that tuple is accessed separately and this dictionary is accessed separately. So instead of this ABC, you want to give some other name. Okay, we'll give this one. But make sure that your keyword should be only of string type. Okay. Name. Or let me give ONE. Something ONE. This keyword should be only of string type, guys. It cannot be an integer. If it is integer here, it will throw you error. It can be of any name, any string. So if you want to accept the input for this, we are speaking about the input value, isn't it? The input value here, just make it as a dictionary. Ma. It is of dictionary, Amartya. You can pass a dictionary as your output. What is that, Krishna? Okay, guys, we can do one thing. Keep this example as such. I'll explain you this keyword argument implementation while seeing with your exercise question. Okay, we'll be having exact example there. I'll explain you there. Okay, is that fine? Just remind me during your exercise program. We'll be seeing exercise program for each and every topic. Just remind me. What you're asking for, you want to give a comma separated value 3, 4 like this, isn't it? No, guys, don't confuse with multiple scenario, guys. Now keep it light. Don't take much stress to it. Okay, right now keep it like this. I told you I'll explain to people when you're seeing with the programmatical part of it. Key value pass in this is don't confuse much. Don't do much R&D inside it. Right now, key value pass instance, make it that your key value should have key and value, where your key should be only of string type and value should be of only of integer type. I can pass value like this, I can receive by using keyword or argument. While seeing the programming, I'll show you the scenario and I'll show you people how to do this one. Okay, don't confuse much with it. So directly I can't be able to give a scenario base here. That's the reason I'm insisting you people just wait for just one day. By tomorrow we'll start with the scenario based questions. Okay, by tomorrow just remind me how to do this one. I'll let you know. Is that fine? Is that okay, guys? Come on, respond me. Okay, fine. And but make sure that here this keyword, this 1, 2, 3 are strings. But strings also will be treated as a keyword, not single quotes. If you use single quotes, it will throw you an error. Okay, I'll never use single quotes here. You can notice here. I'm just using 1, 2, 3. That's it. I didn't use any single quotes or all those things. Even though it is a string, keyword should be given as a word. That's it. This is a specific rule here, guys. Okay. This keyword argument has a specific rule. I can pass a key value pass. Treat the first value as a key, second value as a value. Whatever the element you are passing, it is treated as a pass of value. Okay. This is all about your function, guys. These are the different way for implementing a function. So when you go ahead with the function, we'll be coming across the one terminology called recursive function. What is recursive function? What is recursive function, ma? Even your C program, you might have came across this one, recursive function. What is that? Repetitive function, or the function that calls itself is called a recursive function. Okay, so what is the use of it? Maximum, this particular recursive function, when you people ask to me, I say that don't use recursive function, but you should have a knowledge about it. The reason is recursive function will make use of your stack memory and it makes a time complexity error in your program. Sorry guys. There are certain unavoidable situations to use a recursive function, like merge sort, quick sort. When you're trying to this particular sorting algorithm, there is no other way. We are supposed to use the recursive algorithm. But don't try to use this recursive algorithm for a basic program. Okay, recursive algorithm in the sense you are going to make a function to call itself n number of time to certain duration. So what happens here is your task was such by calling a function again and again. So for example, we'll take this factorial program, guys. We'll try to complete within 2 to 3 minutes, a small program. So factorial program, we are going to do it by using recursion. So factorial of 5, we'll take a small number. Factorial of 5, how will you calculate it? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Isn't it? We'll calculate like this. So we'll write a recursive algorithm for it. So let us write one function call. Here let us assume you're going to call a, you're going to accept the input value from the user, input of number. So based on the number we are passing it, we are supposed to have a function call. Let me mention fact of n. So the function call is done. This part is over. Now let us go over the function definition. Diff of fact of here n value. I'm receiving with a variable name called n. So what you're supposed to do repeatedly, you're going to mention return n into fact of n minus 1. So this is nothing but each and every time what I'll do 5 into 4, again 4 into 3, again 3 into 2, again 2 into 1. This process has to be repeated. So that is the reason I'm writing n into fact of n minus 1. So whenever I say n minus 1, this process will be called again. Okay, this process will be called again. So this process will be repeated again until I reaches which value? Until I reaches 1. So if I doesn't mention my termination condition, what happened? It will go infinitely. I don't want that to happen. In those cases, I can mention my if condition. If my n value equals to 1, you're supposed to return 1. Until unless you're supposed to repeat this process. Okay. So if we execute this program, you can notice that it will give you perfect answer for it. It will give you perfect answer. but I'll let you know how to trace this program. Tracing of this program is very much important so that you people will be clear about the flow of the program. We are getting 120 as answer, 5 factorial is 120. That is all, everything is fine. Now listen carefully. Guys, I need 2 minutes of your time, guys. Okay. Right now it is 8:30. Within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, we'll try to complete this program. Is that okay for you people? I'll explain the tracing of this program. Shall I take 2 minutes of your time? Okay, ma'am. Thank you, guys. Listen carefully. Now what happened here, I'm going to call this function. So when, as I told you, this program will make use of stack memory. Stack memory in the sense, this is how your stack looks. Okay, this is all about your data structure. This is how your stack memory looks. Whatever you put inside this one, it is like a box, guys. Whatever you put first will be at the bottom. The next data what you put will be at the next above to it. The next data what you put will be above to it. This is how your stack memory is full. The whatever the data it is coming first will go out last. Okay, it is nothing but they'll name it as a first in last out. The data which come first will go last. Okay, first in last out. So this is the concept of stack. Now we'll go ahead with the tracing of it. Listen carefully. So I'm calling my fact and let us assume my n value inputted is 5. So let us have here fact of 5. So when fact of 5 is called, it will go here. So fact of 5 is called. Right now it will check. Right now I'm going to check whether the number n5 is equals to 1. No, it is not equals to 1. So what happens here? It will come here. It will come to the else part. So 5 into 5 minus 1. Fact of 5 minus 1. So what happens here is this factors 5 will have a 5 into fact of 5 minus 1. So what is this 5 minus 1 here? Factor of 5 minus 1. This is again a function call. So after this what happened? This loop will go back here with the value 4. Initially it will be called with the 5. Right now the value is 4. The same function will be called again with the value 4. You can notice that since I told you that this is of stack memory, I will be mentioning factor of 4. So now what happened? It will make us 4 into fact of 4 minus 1. This particular if condition will never be satisfied until your n value becomes 1. So each and every time this process is going to repeat again, guys. Again the function will be called with the value 3. So 3 into fact of 3 minus 1. Okay, again it will be called. So what happened? Fact of 2. You can notice that 2 into fact of 2 minus 1. So again the function will be called. You can notice that 2 minus 1 is 1. So right now I'll come here. You can notice that this if condition will be satisfied, isn't it? Right now this if condition will be satisfied. So you will be getting written 1 as the answer. Right now your factor of 1. So n value is 1. This condition is satisfied. Now what happened? I'll get 1 as my answer. So what I told you, we are going to put the data inside a box. This data is put inside a box. Right now all the operation is completed. Right now one by one data will be coming out of it. So now what happened? This substitution will be happening. Until this process completed, all this data will be put in your stack memory. So after this data it is returned once. Right now the value will be substituted. 2 into, what is this all about? What is this specifically all about? This particular is the result of fact of 1, isn't it? Fact of 2 minus 1. So what is the result of 2 minus 1? 1. So 1, the factor of 1 value is 1. So what happened? It will be as 2. Again it will come down. So 2 is calculated. Again it will come down. 3 into factor of 2. Factor of 2 result is 2. So it is 6. Again it comes down. So 4 into 6. It gives you 24 as an answer. Again it comes down. 5 into factor of 4. It gives you 5 into 24 as 120. And this calculated result will be thrown back here. Got it? This is how your recursion works, guys. Okay, this is how your recursion works. Priyadashini, make your n value and print towards your corner. This is the error. This is the indentation error. Make this here. Guys, is that clear? This is how this works. So what happened? Until the process complete, this data will be putting in your stack memory. So it occupies certain amount of memory during your execution. You will be facing, for not for all programs, for certain programs you'll be facing this time complexity error. So it is better to know about this recursion problem. So we'll be using wherever it is necessary. Don't try to implement this recursion everywhere. Okay. So this is how it works, guys. Is that clear? Come on. Clear with the recursion problem? How does it work? So the process is continuously calculated. So until it reaches one value, this is done. Good. So this program has one flaw. What is 0 factorial? What is 0 factorial, ma? 0 factorial. 0 factorial is 1, right? So even if I give 0, my program should work perfect. So what should I do? What should I do for this one? What is the alteration I should do for this one, for 0 factorial? Good, good, Hemant. R, what is that R? No need of else, ma. R, n equals to 0. We can add this condition. So that what happened? The 0 factorial will return 1 as a result. Guys, this is how you're supposed to trace your recursion program. Okay, you can trace your recursion program like this. This is how it works. Shall I give one small task for you people? Will you try it by afternoon? While coming with evening session, will you do it by recursion program? Will you do sum of digit program? Sum of digit by using recursion. We'll discuss this by afternoon. Sum of digits. If the number, a single number, if the single number is given like 356, my output should be summation of it. Summation of 3 plus 5 plus 6 should be my output by using recursive method. The summation result should be my output. Okay. By using recursion method. If people can try this one, ma. We can discuss by evening so that people can have an idea about how the recursion program works. Try this code and I can paste this code by afternoon. I'll give you time. We can once you just keep the code ready. Once the session starts, we can discuss about this program. Those who are done, you can post your code in the chat box. Okay, I guess you people are clear with the today's content, morning content, isn't it?